Well, hi, and thanks for joining me here today. I'm going to finally face up to putting a cloth into this speaker cabinet, which goes with the speaker. And first I want to thank everybody for their comments on the last video I did, where I kind of showed off the speaker and talked about the issues that, as I understand it anyway, in trying to put a cloth in here. A wealth of ideas in your comments. Thank you so much. Clearly you're putting a lot of thought and effort into making meaningful comments. Hey, really well written too, by the way. So of course I'm not going to follow any of them, but I'm going to follow all of them. What? So my idea, which you can see I did not implement because I think it was half-baked, was to take a piece of wood a little bit bigger than this opening, stretch. This is not the right cloth. This is some cloth I can work with here. Don't worry about. Stretch the cloth over the wood. Bring the wood up. First, put some glue around here. Maybe glue around the cloth. Basically, going to rely on glue. Bring the wood with the cloth up. Whack it in like that. Of course, it would look a lot better than it looks like this. Let it dry, and then cut away the cloth and the wood from inside. And that would leave the cloth glued around the inner edge and pulled a little bit tight so that it's flat. So it's flat. It would have to be pulled reasonably tight. The problem with that whole idea, and there's quite a few of them, but the main problem is the way this speaker's designed. It's almost certain that at some point somebody's going to go like this and pick it up. It's almost a guarantee. Number two, just accidental striking of the cloth can be a problem. You just bump it. Even if it's glued beautifully all around the edge here, if you bump it, the cloth itself is going to stretch a bit, and whatever tightness I manage to achieve in here is going to disappear. It's going to have a poke mark, and you're not going to be able to resolve it. Number two, it's possible the glue won't hold. If I put the cloth in with some tension, even while it's on the board and held in the tension, I remove the board. Now there's nothing holding the cloth back except the glue, and over time the glue may drift. It may not be locking it so hard. Or I may be inconsistent in how I've glued it, how I've tensed it out, and you may end up with a ripple. I mean, there's like 1,000 ways for this to go wrong. Well, it doesn't even take 1,000. So that's why I didn't do it. And that's why I appreciate so much the ideas that I was given. Now, putting the board in is a good idea, no doubt about it. Put the cloth over the board. If you hit the cloth, you just hit the board. You don't stretch the cloth, nothing bad happens. Problem with the board is it's a big hunk of board. You're trying to put sound through here. You put a big board over top, even though the speaker is going to be open at the back. Obviously, you just can't have a piece of wood and cover this hole. You can't do that. So you'd have to pierce the piece of wood with a whole bunch of holes drilled through it. So I thought about that for a long time. That's kind of an obvious kind of approach. And you know, it could be done. Maybe if I had a nice drill press and some other stuff, it might actually be easy to do. But I have another idea. Rather than use a piece of wood with holes drilled through it, this material I'm going to show you is actually similar to what's on the front of one of my radios with no cloth. Oh my gosh. Expanded metal. Got to be kind of careful here. This stuff is really scratchy. I'm waving it around in my shop with the speaker exposed here. I don't want to do that. There we go. I can put it like this now. So this might do the job. This is what I'm thinking right now. I cut it, say, roughly the shape of the opening here, a little bigger. You can fasten it into the cabinet. We're going to take a look at that in a moment. Maybe with some little screws here and there. In the meantime, I will have stretched the cloth across it, maybe around the back a little bit. Not sure how to fix the cloth to the screen yet, but I think probably there's some easy ways to do it. Obviously it's not a glue situation, it's some kind of mechanical way. I'm not sure what to do yet about that. The thing is, of course, sound's going to go through this like it isn't there. And I'm thinking it's going to provide the backing support. So if you do manage to stick your finger into the cloth, you're going to run into this. And you're not going to stretch the cloth. And like I said, I have a radio, my Pi radio, my PYE radio, Pi 39 I've got. It's been in my shop here. Tuned it up. Nice radio. This is actually what covers the speaker. There's no cloth. It's this material. Now it looks a lot better than this. I mean, this is just kind of a hardware type stuff. But what's in the radio, you can't really see through it because of the way it's made. But that's all it is. It's just this expanded metal cover. So the reason I have this other piece of cloth here literally is to experiment. So what I'm hoping to do now is cut this material roughly the size of the opening. Take a look at how I can fix it in there, because this is very thin stuff here. This is really thin, and this looks like I'm not sure if plywood's quite the right name for it, but layered wood. I'm not sure how they've done this really, but this could be one sheet of wood and they've kind of routed out this design here, or it's two kinds of wood. This light brown and the dark stuff is two separate kinds of wood been glued on. I don't really know how it's made. There's a hint back here how easy it was for me to flake off these pieces here. In any case, as you can see, it's really, really thin. So you can kind of see down here. It's like I guess that would be about a 1/4 inch, 3-4 millimeters there. Okay, let's look inside here and see if there's, yeah, you know what, it's thin all the way to the edge. I was hoping there'd be some strapping or something in here and it could take a screw. This part can take a screw. Look at that, that's fairly thick. But you know what, it's too low and it's not the same depth here. This screen, when I get it in, has to be up pretty tight on this opening. Wow. Okay, so what I've got here is a piece of quad paper. I'm going to draw the circle here so I don't have to have this out on my bench where it's at constant risk of getting damaged. There we go. Okay, get rid of this now. Bring it back. How much extra have we got beyond the hole? It's like about 1 inch all the way around. There's no sign of how the last speaker was done. What are the chances that there's a missing frame on this? I did get some comments too about the condition of the cone on this speaker, because it's not in very good shape. And my conclusion the last time I studied this was best to leave it alone, and some of you are thumbs up on the leave it alone thing. But some of you are saying no, you've got to stop the deterioration here, the continuing deterioration. I think it's arguable as to whether it's continuing to degrade. Okay, so we're going to cut this guy. I think that kind of stuff is out in my garage here. I gotta go get my shears and things like that. Now I have a fair bit of this expanded metal, so I can afford to make repeated mistakes on the expanded metal here. Let me first just get the excess off here. Look. cut just over here. The other thing about this stuff is it's pretty easy to work with. I was just saying. Come on. Really very easy stuff to work with. Yeah. Apparently not. Another thing about this stuff is, wow, you can cut your fingers on it pretty easy here. God, I'm working up a sweat here. Okay, let's try another one, another thing. Something's got to work here without stressing me out. It always seems to be the case that what looks to be easy in your mind, not so easy when you actually go to do it. Now I got a lovely straight edge along here, and I can see a piece of cloth coming over. Oh, sorry about the top of my head. Getting a good look at it, are you? And this edge is not too bad either. It's pretty straight, but it's quite sharp. This edge is similar, but a little rough because of the way I was cutting it. And this top edge is just totally out of control. So I have a fair bit of, I mean, this might be the piece I finally install. Now let's stick it in there just for a moment and see where we are. Reality check here. So I have to ovalize this for sure. So in the end I've got about a ½ inch extra on the outside. That's my goal. I'm going to work away at that and show you what the result is. Actually, I'll show you a little more about how I'm approaching this. I'm kind of making this up, of course, as usual. Making it up on the fly. So I can see the oval shape. All I gotta do is just nip around the outside here. That's okay. That's what I'm gonna keep doing. Better to leave it a little big than a little small. In fact, it can't be a little small. There we are. Okay, let's try that inside the cabinet. Get rid of all this scratchy material. I'm surprised I'm not bleeding at this point. Huh. Oh, I think that's an old one. Let's see where we are now. Hey, not bad. Not bad when you see it like that. Now, not forgetting I cannot scratch this cabinet. Boy, I'm very nervous having something like this on my bench. It's not a safe place. Even done poorly like that. It doesn't look too bad. So now the question would be, let me put this away. Don't pull it like that. Think, think, think. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to kind of do with this what I was talking about with the board. Bring the cloth around the back and then tighten it and fasten it. Fastening it to this is where I'm lost. I'm totally lost on that. So let's cut this to the right size so we can experiment some more here. Hey, $4. This is actually a cushion cover from the dollar store not far from where I live. They have all kinds of cloths, pillow covers, stuff like that. I just went in and looked for something that looked nice. This is for another project quite some time ago. You can see the piece I cut out here. And actually it's a great way to get a piece of cloth. This is decent looking. This will look okay in almost any radio. So, but this radio has a piece of cloth the owner has purchased for it. Cut it way long. Cut it way long to start. It's got a lot of excess cloth here I need to get rid of. And hopefully I can discover the best way to install the cloth on the expanded wire screen. Expanded metal. Expanded metal. Just going to cut the seam away here and get rid of this. Hey, maybe I'll get this done. This will look great, even with this cloth. I'm using vintage scissors, by the way. And you know, to some degree, I'm vintage. Now, the area I grew up in is known for growing grapes. I grew up in the Niagara Peninsula, fruit belt, lots of fruit, peaches, pears, apples, all cherries, lots of cherries, but grapes, a big deal. Where I grew up when I was a kid, the grapes were Concord grapes and making grape juice out of it. But then the farmers slowly switched from Concord grapes to other kinds of grapes for making wine. And now that area in the Niagara Peninsula is a gigantic wine making area. It wasn't when I was a kid. Okay, I'm just going to ignore this crease here because I'm only doing this as a practice. So how would we do this? Lay it flat. You want to pull in a wee bit of tension. See, and then you need to fix it. I need to fix it. Wow, this is a big problem. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's just, I'm a blank here. How would I ever fix this here? Put some kind of elastic material across here and leave the cloth pulled. No, that's not going to work. If it were square, maybe I could get away with that, but this is curved, so the curving thing is a big problem here. Also, to get this around here. Plus, I also have to do this kind of experimentally, so I don't really want to fix it down just yet. What I might be able to do is slam a board on top of this and kind of hold it in place while I take a look at the result on the other side. It's another case of needing 7 hands. Okay, 5 hands would do it. I do happen to have a board handy, but it's a big... It's the board I was thinking about using instead of the screen here. Okay, just do a sloppy job of this, Jim. See what it looks like. It's never going to be really nicely done. What do we got? Oh yeah, that's a horrible way to do this. What about doing it like this? So I'm imagining I'm doing this with the real cloth. Oh my gosh, this really is a problem, isn't it? What if I make it, I use enough cloth to come all the way across and somehow join the cloth? One idea just came to mind, and that is after I get this whole thing laid out, like attached down, if there's any slack in the cloth, maybe I can actually expand the expanded metal here. I doubt it. Wow, got an awful lot to... You know, a lot of strength to actually do that. Yeah, I'm not going to pull this out. You'd need a setup to do it. So we'll do this in some kind of pattern. Edges first, fix them down. Do this edge, fix it down. Start pulling in these corners carefully. How am I fixing it down? How am I fixing it down that I can fix it down in 6 different places here? I can't be using a nut and bolt. I can't have anything go through the front. I can't have anything show through the front. Like if I tried to use glue, if this was what my plan was, fold this over, glue it to the metal. Fat chance on that. The glue is going to go through. It's going to show up on the front. It's going to be visible. That's not going to work. Glue's a terrible idea. Wow, okay, so all kinds of crazy ideas are going through my head here. Okay, I think this is the point where I need to stop for a bit and think about this, because I haven't got any good way forward at this point. Okay, just standing here for a couple of minutes after stopping the video and thinking about it. One possible idea here is to stitch this cloth, you know, with a needle and thread. And what could I do? I could be stitching the cloth into the screen, put the needle and thread through the screen. Wow, that's really versatile. I can be very, very specific if I'm doing that in how I stitch it. I just can't poke through the front. I could stitch it just right around the edge here where I can poke through the front. Put the needle and the thread right through the front. Can cut it all away if it doesn't work out and do it again. So it's not like glue, a one-time shot and you're screwed, glued, and tattooed. I think that's yeah. So much of the funny business out here won't be visible because it's in behind the cover. So as I look at it here, I'm getting a little panicky, but I shouldn't be. I like the idea of stitching it. You know what? I could even put it like this, and then stitch right across, and it basically pulling the material inwards. If I were to do that and do that in all directions, I would end up with a pattern of threads running across like this. This piece isn't going to go anywhere. Once this thing is all wrapped up, it can't really shift at all. It's got these little points and stuff. So the fact that this is not attached mechanically directly to this wouldn't matter. Somehow I have to fix this inside the radio, which probably means putting little screws through, maybe 4 screws in the corners here. That will attach the cloth. You know, that will disturb the cloth too, and potentially set up a wrinkle. But you know, if I haven't glued this, I haven't got it like rigidly in place, I can always, you know, fiddle around, tighten it up, stitch some more, get it really nice. That sounds like the way to do it. It really does. It's not going to block any sound just because I have a bunch of threads running across here. And the best part of all is I can sit in front of the TV and do this. Work on it all day long. Another question now just come to mind. What if I double layer this? What if I go ahead and put on this piece of cloth, I have it on now, and I get the real piece of cloth and put it on top. Oop, come back here. Oops. Elbowed my camera there. Getting a little excited, I guess. Why would I want to put 2 pieces of cloth on? Somehow I think this is once this cloth is on, this is a better form to work against. The cloth I'm putting on can shift and slide around on top of this cloth. You can't slide around on top of these pins. Let's look at that other cloth. There is a pattern. This has to go on properly. That's just lovely, isn't it? But this is all I got right here. So this too would have to be stitched on. So I'm either stitching this on all by itself. So here's what I can do. Here's what I can do. Always look for ways to delay your decisions. I got one here. This isn't right. Folded this in kind of an unusual way. I'll go ahead and stitch on this cloth. That'll give me a look at what the result will be like. I can even fit it in the cabinet and look at it. That'll give me the model and the chance to test the idea. At that point I can decide. Leave the cloth on, put the additional cloth on, stitch it all up, voila. Or I can remove this cloth and put this one on. I don't have to decide right now. So in any case, I'm on my way to stitching on this piece of cloth. Okay. Thanks so much for listening to me think my way Through this? Around this? Hey, what's going on with the camera? Nice at doing that. Silly cameras. Okay, onward. Okay, so here's where I'm at now on this. I've got my thread and needle, but I've also picked up out of our sewing kit some of this stretchy band material. What I'm thinking is, I bring this over, stitch the band so there's some pull, just a little bit of pull here. Likewise this way, and then I suppose in an X shape. So I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm thinking that's going to pull this fairly tight, but you know, in the end it may just distort the shape of it. So I have to decide now, do I want to try and experiment with this on here, on this, or go to the final cloth? No, I can't go to the final cloth. I've got to experiment a little bit. I got to think a little bit about how to the easy way to experiment with this. That's what I got to think about. Okay, let's see if this will do the trick here. I've cut 2 pieces, stretchy stuff, and I'm going to just try to clip it on here temporarily. I'm just trying to find the fast and easy way to see if there's any, you know, the more I model what I'm going to do, the more I will discover ahead of time why I shouldn't do it. That's kind of the bottom line here. Okay, so we'll stretch that with a little bit of tension. So obviously these clips are taking the place of me actually stitching the this. You can see how tricky it would be to stitch it. In fact, I'd use these clips to kind of hold everything. Holy smokes. There. Not bad. Let's try this way now. You know, maybe I don't even have to worry about these corners that much. It's all going to be hidden inside the radio. Maybe I only need 4 for two pieces. 4 clips or 4 stitches. Okay, pull this a little bit. You know, the reason I'm doing all this is because I've never done anything like this before, and I do want it to come out good. Okay, so assuming I've got this held in here, it's true. Look, the corners don't really matter very much. Corners up in here. But I could easily put strips across. Very easily. You know, I like this arrangement a lot. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Poke it. You hold it up here fairly tight. If you poke it, nothing happens. Just a little bump right in there. Of course, when you put it on, it can pull everything tighter and tighter and get a little more tension in the cloth here. Hey, what's the difference here between these 2 cloths? Careful how you pick that up, man. So this cloth, like most material, it's not really particularly stretchy. What about this guy? Ooh, this is a little stretchier. Yeah, this has got stretch to it. So that would mean if imbalanced tension on this with these strips. I'm liable to get some kind of a lump or something in here. I don't think there's a lot of chance of that really happening. I think if I do another piece across here, nicely and neatly. Now the next question was, should I put this piece on and then put this piece over top of it? That's definitely a question. Why exactly would I want to do that? I'd have to, you know, I could attach this one some other way. I could attach this in a more permanent way, like a cover over top of the wire. Like a slip cover. A slip cover. Hey, that's what I'm making here, a slip cover. So if I put a slip cover on here, then I put on this material. Now it can slip over the edges easy, and the tension from the elastic band should easily pull it in. With a little bit of stretch in it, as long as I don't have these bands ridiculously tight, and I certainly don't. As long as I don't have them ridiculously tight, it shouldn't cause a problem. So that leaves me with attaching this, but this can be attached, this cloth can be attached in all kinds of rude ways. I can just stitch right through it. So cover this with a slip. I think that's it. I think that's what I gotta do. Okay, just showing my wife, in fact, what I'm planning on doing here. Get her comments on it. She studied fashion for a while in college and knows a little bit about the materials and stuff like that. Another issue has come up in my mind here. I got to make sure of that I'm not putting so much stuff in the cabinet that you can't drop the cabinet over the speaker anymore. Maybe there's not enough clearance here. Boy, I hope that's not the case. Let's see. Hanging out the back here, interfering. It's gotta go. It's gotta come out the hole. There we go. Now, so you see how I'm holding it? You know, boom. That's exactly what might happen there. What's going on here? Put my finger right through it if I'm not careful. So there we are. That's how this fits together. Oh, there's quite a large gap there. Look, I can pretty much stick my finger in there. So there's quite a large gap here. And what about the cone vibrating against something on the back? Well, there won't be anything on the back. These clips are just temporary. So I really can't see how that would happen. Once I get this done, I think it'll be quite tight looking. Okay. I'm ready. Okay, here's what I've got here. So what I've done is I've stitched all around the outer edge. That's what I ended up doing. Okay. Of course, this excess material I will cut away. So how's that looking? Not bad. So my thinking is this goes over top. Getting pretty thick now. This is a thick piece of cloth here. But still, I've got a finger worth of space in there, and this is nowhere near too much. Now the question is, Should I just stitch this in place? Just stitch around the outer edge here. Forget this elastic band deal. Kind of see how it comes out here with this material. You know, and I did not really work hard, see, at stretching it. Could have done this a little better, of course. It's always the way it goes. That's the needle hanging there. Well, let's stick it in the. Stick it in here. How would we do that? Well, lots of gap in here. Lots of room for more material. You can see the. Let's see if my. So how I've stitched this is quite visible, but that doesn't really matter because this will be covered. Look at that! Get that right out of there. Good idea to even try this. Yeah, it's just bunging up. It's too much. I'm going to put too much pressure on here. Well, let's see. Is this good enough? And then what about the curve on this piece of metal? I think it should be totally flat, like it is now. I don't think we want it curved in any way, shape, or form. Still don't know how to attach this to the back of that, but I think that's going to take care of itself. Somehow, yeah, Cat's going to do it for me. That's how that's going to work. If there's a top or a bottom, don't think so. Okay, so I think the next step is, I think this is satisfactory for now. Trim away the excess material. Now I've got to somehow iron out or steam out the creases in here. And then it's a matter of attaching this to here and this to here. And we're done. Okay. Okay, here we are. Slip cover on. Time to deal with the real material now. Okay, got the wrinkles ironed out of the real cloth. At least I think I have them ironed out. Looks pretty good to me. Now, just need to get the light on it. You can still see these darn folds. I don't think I can get rid of those completely. If the light is shining, you know, direct on, you don't see them. If you get the light shining kind of across it, see, they're pretty easy to see then. Okay, maybe I got to do some more ironing. Let's check it out here size-wise. Pretty nice. My wife also warned me after ironing this that when it cools off, I can see that the folds may reappear. Now I'm going to put a little tension on this when I do it. When I finally attach it here. I see the line right through there. Huh. Okay, let's go for some more ironing, more steaming. Steam ironing. Okay, how's that look? Oh, wrong side. Hey, that's come out pretty good. Nice and smooth. Oops, there we go. Don't see any creases. Oh, let's see what it looks like. Here we go. Drum roll please. It's a thing of beauty. Fantastic. Look at that. I'm happy. Okay, now, last challenge, aside from trimming all this, which I'm going to do next. Next challenge is how to fix this in the radio. And I think it's 4-corner screws. That's what I think it is. Okay. Great. Okay, I'm going to get busy on that. Okay. Let's flip this over. This is the back facing up now. What I'm going to do is drop that in there. There's quite a bit of wiggle room. I gotta figure out how I am going to hold this down. You know what? I could put a screw through it, or if I can find just basically a piece of metal with a hole in it, put a screw down outside of it here, and then that piece will come down and clamp. Boy, that sounds complicated too. The main thing is the wood here that's going to take a screw is, it's unbelievably thin. What other options, you know? The wood on the sides, it's thick. This is all thick. How did they do that? Oh, there's a seam right there. Huh. There's a seam right here. Seam right here. So they've got separate pieces of fairly thick wood all around here. The front and back are really thin. I don't think that's going to help me at all. I can somehow screw a clamp into the side that presses down on this without interfering with the speaker. I think we're back to just driving screws right through the corners. Wow, you can see that's how thick the wood is right there. There's nothing there. That would mean many screws barely going in. It also means every screw I put in, I run the risk of getting overzealous and having it pop through here. On the other side, of course. Just take one of those. So, okay, so what if I put metal bars across? Well, I'm still stuck screwing in. Let's have metal bars I can go across and screw into the sides. You need a piece like that. 2 brackets. What are the chances I've got anything like that, or I can make something like that? And then, even then, if it's just pushing on this grill, the grill's going to eventually slip and slide. Back to screws. Screws or tacks. What if I tack it? How do I get a little tiny tack nail? Tack it in. Still run the risk of tacking too far. The screw's a little more controlled, you know, on how deep you drive it. Boy, this is the last hurdle here. Well, you know what? I'm going to give it some time to bubble around in my head. Go do something else for a minute or 10. Okay, so here's where I'm at this point. I found 2 interesting brackets. Oops. Found 2 brackets, lost 1 screw. I found 2 interesting brackets here, which I think if you peek up through here, my plan would be to screw them into the side. See how thick the wood is there? It's really thick. It's really thick. Screw these in like that, and just have them catch the edges here of the grate. Would that be great? So, as for a screw, I'm thinking about how hard it is going to be to put these screws in because of the awkward position. But see that screw? Whoops. That's a pretty substantial screw there. That's definitely going to do it. I mean, that's got the strength. We got way more strength here than we need. And I have a bunch of these, so I can do a set. But screwing them into this wood. I don't know if I have to pre-drill a pilot hole. How would I ever do that down in there? I mean, that's pretty tough. So I think I'll just try driving the screws straight. Now, how am I going to do the bracket? And if I need more brackets, if I need a bracket at the top or a bracket at the bottom, I can figure something out, I'm sure, to put further pressure on the thing. But for now, let's just try and bracket it at the two sides. You know, I don't know how to do this except do it. That's about all I can say. Just put it in kind of loose. When I tighten it down, if I do it right, tightening it down will clamp it down at the same time. Just barely catching. A little bit. Again, I can try this, and if it's not working, I can abandon it. There's no harm done. I'm not on a one-way street here with this. I've tried to stay off the one-way street the whole time here. Screw to start. Oh boy. Has to be a slotted one too, eh? It can't be a Roberts. I'd make this a lot easier if it were. A Roberts screw. Let's see if I can operate my computer at the same time that I'm doing this. Ah. My fingers are pushing on the grill here. That's not going to work. That's just not going to go like that. Probably my best chance of starting one of these is to use my power. So I think I can do it. My power screwdriver, rather. Or it's going to require a pilot hole. I can't get them started with the screwdriver. I can't remember now if I showed the final version of this, but I think you get the picture. I trimmed away all the excess cloth from around it. Okay, so that'll work. Try and get a more embarrassing shot here. You can watch me struggle with this situation. hard wood. How hard is it? It's pretty hard stuff. So I think I need to drill little pilot holes. Oh my gosh. How am I going to do that? How am I going to drill in there? I've got this gigantic drill I don't want to use. There's no way I can put it in here and drill. At least I don't think I can. Can I? I'd be so pessimistically from the start. Well, it could be done. It certainly is a bit of an oversized drill. I gotta get a different bit, of course. Okay, let's get that going. Okay. So we're gonna drill a couple of small pilot holes for the screws. I gotta mark where we're gonna drill here. Okay. Oh, I hope my pen is making a mark. Let's use this one. Kinda made a mark. Okay. I'm sticking my head in front of the camera here. No, I'm not. There we go. My voice gets light when I get nervous. Gets quiet. Let's take this right out of here. Make sure I'm drilling in the right spot. That's the spot. Now I already checked. If I shove this drill all the way through the chuck, it'll pop out the side.
Unknown caller.
Excuse me. Hello? Hello? Yeah, I hear you. Not bad. Why am I talking to you? Okay, so that turned out to be nothing. Now, that's the mark. Slight downward angle. Not all the way through. Oh, for God's sakes, man. Apparently you gotta plug these things in to make them work. Okay. Now, this is one of those, although I'm putting a hole in it here, and if I do it wrong, it really isn't going to matter. I'm still putting a hole into this antique speaker. You all ready? I'm ready. Let's go. Okay, things are sliding here. Okay, that's one. Now the next one. You know what they say, measure 3 times, drill 4. Okay. Let's see now what we got here. That's too small. Screw looks really big. Nope, it won't go through. It will not go through. And, I guess another possibility of driving a screw into something, you know, you could always split it. Especially old stuff like this. I'm going to drive it by hand. Okay, success on that. Now, one more. Where'd my other screws go? Here's one. Oh, they're not getting under here, are they? Anything scratch in the front of this? Drilled a little further. Here we are. Okay, I don't want to tighten it right down. Take this. Put it like that. Is this plan really going to work? Oh yeah, it's going to work. Fantastic. Bingo. You know what, even after I put it in and snug it down, I'll be able to shift it around a bit and then tighten it right down. I see it's hanging out at the top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this a little bit this way because it's actually bent back. It's actually bent the wrong way here. Okay, with great care, Jim, because you see, bending it. Create some slack in the cloth. Ooh, I didn't think about that too much. If I have to, I'll put another clamp in up here. I'll figure something out. Oh yeah. Okay, clamp number 2. Clamp number 2. Clamp number 2. My marking pen. I found these little clamps while I was looking for screws. That's kind of how it works, isn't it? Okay. Drill. A little bit further this time. Just a little bit. Sad it would be if I drilled through this. No, I did not. Nowhere's near. Nowhere's near. 2 screws. Go. "60 years from now, someone will be looking at this radio and they'll look inside the am I sticking my head over top of what I'm doing? I think I am. They will look inside this and they will think all this is original." Hold on a second, I'm getting a call. Okay, a little distraction there. Now, If you wonder why I turn my head like this all the time, it's because I'm looking at my computer screen to see what you're seeing. So I won't tighten these all the way. I'll tighten them most of the way. Okay, brackets are in loosely. Let's put this guy in here. See if my plan works. Normally at this point you'd take something like this and kind of bend it up to flip it under, but if I bend this up, I'll be in big trouble. Let me go the other way first. Let's try this way. Slip it under. Come on. Just there. Slip it under. Now, I hope I'm not wrecking it on the front here. Okay, let's see what we got. What do we got? Look at that. There, look at that. Not bad. Okay. Let's tighten them up. Tighten them up. This might have worked better than I thought. This little project here, putting this grill cloth in, I was just saying to my wife, has been on my mind since day one of having this radio arrive. I really had no idea how I was going to do this. Yeah, that's holding pretty good. Just as I figured, as I screw them down, they swing in and clamp down pretty tightly. As long as I don't punch my hand through the grill cloth. Wow. It's really, the screw's not happy about going in further. I thought I drilled these holes deeper. Not tight yet. Son of a gun. Yeah. These screws can't take camming very good. I'm just chopping them to pieces here with my screwdriver, but maybe that's enough. Oh, gotta go a little more. Come on, screw, you can do it. These are lousy screws. Oh, just feel it rip the head off the top of that screw. You know, and it's not putting a crazy amount of force on them. Oh, that one too. Son of a gun, I wasn't expecting that. Look, It's still loose. Son of a gun. The last thing I expected to have happen. Oh man, there's just about nothing left of the head of this screw. Oh. It's just not something I figured on. Bigger screwdriver here. Oh, you son of a gun. It just cammed right out. Okay. I gotta go into overdrive on this. Part of the problem is I couldn't really put as much power onto the screw here. Oh my gosh, it's just popping right out of it. Won't go in. Careful, careful, don't scratch it up. Yeah, that's about as far as I can turn that. That's holding on. That's solid now. Let's look at the other side here. Not so solid. Oh, well, you can't see through the top, can you? Oh, I just cammed that screw too. Wow, what is this, bad screwdrivers? I got screw-eating screwdrivers? What's going on here? Okay. Oh, that's good. Okay, you know what? That has got it. Did I scratch anything up here? Don't think so. Oh, let's take a bit of a longer look at this. Mr. M, I hope you're happy with that. Fantastic. Now, okay, let's see if I can fit it over the speaker now. Oh my gosh, if something bad happens at this point, I'm just gonna... what? What am I gonna do? Now the wire's hanging out the back of the speaker. It's causing it to tip forward slightly, but that's no problem. Pretty loosey-goosey on the top and bottom. Again, this is classic. So we're going to grab this like this. Your fingers are going to push this in. The metal lath is going to bend a little bit, and you're going to say "phooey" on that. So what we'll do, we'll have a couple more brackets into here. One right at the top to fight off the finger. And then one at the bottom here, in case somebody kicks it. Let's see, the one now, this sits right up on top, so I can actually bracket off of here. Okay, I gotta go look for some more funny shaped pieces of metal and see if I can find two brackets. Okay, here's what I found. I found a bunch of bent pieces of metal. So I think this one is gonna work right up at the top here. Just like that. A little large, but I don't think that really matters. So got to clear this. It's getting pretty tight in there now. Remember, it's about a finger width. I think I'm okay. The other bracket I'm thinking of using, believe it or not, this looks like it's an old hinge of some sort, eh? But this piece is going to be helpful down here. Come across here straight. See, I won't put any pressure on this. If I put it on this way, pressure. This is the front, and I'm sure there's enough room for that. So that's what we're doing. We're going to put this guy on the front and that guy on the top. And then we're going to clap our hands in celebration. Okay. First, now I've got to pop a hole through here. Let me mark it. Feels like softer wood. It's not quite as thick. There's one of those. I gotta get another one of those screws. Well, I have this teeny tiny one. Ooh, even that'll go through. Well, I think if I use this teeny tiny screw and washer it up a bit, we'll be okay. That's my plan. What did I do with all the washers here? Oh, these are all split block washers, not all of them. There. Still going through. Wow, can I find a smaller screw? I just don't. I think I see one. It's even smaller, you know, but at that point, has it got any strength? Much of it's coming through. Okay, so that won't go into the wood here. So we'll try this first. I think I can probably dry this. Not with that. Bit of a problem for me. A couple of screwdrivers have wandered off in the house. I don't know where they are. Soft enough I can just push it in. Pushed it in my thumb. Let's try it all here. And to hit that with something. Okay, a little tiny starter spot there. The power screwdriver might be a better way to go here. Everybody ready? Oh, looks good. Fire one. Whoa. What's that cracking sound? No, it's okay. Don't overreact. No need to react. Nothing happened. Just for a minute there, I thought I'd somehow split the wood, but it's actually this metal tag there. How can I split the wood? Did I grab the wrong screw? I did grab the little tiny screw, didn't I? It's the wrong screw. Oh. Baby, what a mistake. Another mistake. What's happening? Am I making mistakes? It's late in the day. It's coming up on 4 o'clock, so it's dinner time. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, thank God I didn't push that all the way. Boy, oh boy. Hopefully this screw will still have something to bite into. Oh yeah. It hasn't got a big job to do here. It's a small job. There. Oh, that's good. Okay. One more to do. So this guy... Look at that. You can't look at that. Look at that. Okay, so put this big bracket in here and get it on a funny angle. It's going to stick out here. Stick out here. It's going to catch this. So you don't really want this to be too steep. Now is that still more than a finger width? So I don't think there's a problem, and I can always take a screw out. I could also bend this bracket a bit. Bend this bracket a bit. Into my oh so powerful vise here. Vise of power. Now let's see. I want to bend it this way. Just a little bit. I think I moved my whole bench there. There. Perfecto. That's Italian for perfect. Didn't know I could speak Italian, eh? Better mark it. Better mark it. Just. Double checking that it's a thick piece up there. Uh-oh, this is a bit of a problem. I'm going to end up drilling on a little bit of an angle, but it's not the end of the world. To use the that's still a small screw. Use the small screw. Oh, this isn't the right bracket. Here. Right through. So we'll stick a washer. Good show. Okay, I don't know. Is it a good show? Let's find out here. I think it's fantastic. The Westinghouse Oval-Cone Loud Speaker. Okay, just have to glue back those two little missing pieces. And here they are, so I'm going to do that. So first I rubbed a little bit of water on there. This glue is really thick. Ew. I think my glue is drying out because I'm using tin foil for a lid. I think that's what's happening there. Okay. Two pieces out of here. One is one and one is the other. Which is which? I'm pretty sure they go like that. Could be upside down. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think I got this the right way. What do I do with my little stick? Actually, it's a great big stick. Going to squeeze out a bit of excess glue here, I'm sure. Oops. So I'm going to pull off some of the glue. How am I going to do that? Could use, what did I see? I just saw something here. It would work well. This one here, it's going to go this way. Ooh, did you hear that? Kind of snapping into place there. Where'd that Q-tip go? Okay, just using a little bit of water to pull off any excess glue. There it is. The only reason you know it's there is because you already know it's there. Okie dokie. Now, the real finale here is to put this on the back anyways, to put this on. This is the grand finale. Drum roll. You'll have to imagine the drum roll. Look at that. There it is. Hot diggity dog. Looks great. I'm very happy. Boy, this is like the end of the scariest stuff I've ever done. No, it's not quite the scariest stuff. It's that little nick there. Okay, hey, that's not bad. So, this will be the end of this video. All I need to do is tighten down the cabinet on the speaker and get the speaker. Oh, I have to put the power supply and the radio back in its cabinet. It's a great big cabinet, which I can show you here as soon as I untangle the drill. So there's the cabinet sitting up there. Put the radio back in the cabinet. And then the very, very last thing is to play this thing. Hook it up to a relatively decent antenna, probably my loop antenna. Play around with it. There we go. Well, so glad that's behind me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.